Comac C919. The Comac C919 is a narrow-body twin-jet airliner developed by Chinese aerospace manufacturer Comac. The program was launched in 2008 and production of the prototype began in December 2011. It rolled out on the 2nd of November 2015 and first flew on the 5th of May 2017, for a planned introduction in 2020. The aircraft is mainly made out of aluminium. It is powered by CFM International LEAP turbofan engines and can carry 156 to 168 passengers in a usual operating configuration up to 3,000 nautical miles. It is intended to compete with the Boeing 737 MAX and Airbus A320neo. As of November 2016, 570 aircraft have been ordered from 23 customers, mostly Chinese, but also American and Thai leasing companies or airlines. Naming. The C stands for Comac and China. 9 means forever, while 19 refers to its capacity of 190 passengers. In Mandarin Chinese, 9 is a homophone of, meaning forever, as in. Development. The 2008 program launch initially targeted a maiden flight in 2014. Comac applied for a type certificate for the aircraft from the Civil Aviation Authority of China on the 28th of October 2010. The company intends to manufacture up to 2,300 aircraft of that type. In June 2011, Comac and Irish low-cost airline Ryanair signed an agreement to cooperate on the development of the C919 in 2012. Airbus chief strategist Marwin Lahorde was assuming that the aircraft would offer competition to Airbus by 2020. On the 24th of November 2011, Comac announced the completion of the joint definition phase, marking the end of the preliminary design phase for the C919, with estimated completion of the detailed design phase in 2012. Production of the first C919 prototype began on the 9th of December 2011. The C919's aerodynamics were designed with the help of the Tianhe 2 supercomputer. The annual production was targeted at 150 planes by 2020. Bombardier has been collaborating since March 2012 on supply chain services, electrical systems, human interface and cockpit, and on flight training, flight test support, and sales and marketing. From June 2013, its announced development budget is 58 billion yuan, but its actual cost is estimated at well over $20 billion. The flight test bed was expected to complete final assembly in 2014 and perform its first flight in 2015. However, delivery was delayed again until 2018 due to technical difficulties and supply issues. At the November 2014 Zhuhai Air Show, it was announced that the first flight would be delayed to 2017. On the 2nd of November 2015, Comac rolled out its first C919 aircraft. High-speed taxi tests were completed in April 2017 and the first flight took place on the 5th of May 2017. Comac has a planned test program of 4,200 flight hours and introduction to service in 2020 with China Eastern Airlines. Slippage into 2021 is possible. Design. The dimensions of the C919 are quite similar to those of the Airbus A320. Its fuselage is wide and high with a cross-section. This may allow for a common unit load device to be used for both aircraft. It has a wingspan. The aircraft's intended payload capacity will be 20.4 tons. It will cruise with an operating ceiling of 12,200 meters. There will be two variants, the standard version with a range, and a extended range version. The center wing box, outer wing box, wing panels, flaps, and ailerons are planned to be built in Xi'an, China. The center fuselage sections are planned to be built in Hongdu, China. Aluminium-lithium alloys account for 8.8% of the structure, and composite materials for 12%. The airframe will be made largely of aluminum alloy. Aircraft design and assembly is performed in Shanghai. The wing is supercritical, increasing aerodynamic efficiency by 20% and reducing drag by 8%. The center wing box was originally intended to use carbon fiber composites. It was changed later to an aluminum design to reduce design complications. Mock-up. Both Pratt & Whitney and CFM International offered to provide the engines for the aircraft, the former offering the PW1000G and the latter the LEAP-1C. The latter was ultimately selected. Avic Commercial Aircraft Engine Co. was also tasked with developing an indigenous engine to be used with the aircraft. The ACAE CJ1000A was unveiled at the 2012 Zhuhai Air Show. The engine's nacelle, thrust reverser and exhaust system will be provided by Nextel, with such features as an advanced inlet configuration, the extensive use of composites and acoustic treatment, and an electrically operated thrust reverser. Michelin will supply AirX radial tires. Market. In 2012, the C919 order book stood at 380 units worth $26 billion and averaging $1 million. Flight Global's Ascend market values in 2013 were $49.2 million for the Airbus A320neo, less than its $100.2 million list price, and $51.4 million for the Boeing 737 MAX 8, less than its $100.5 million list price. In June 2015, the China National Radio predicted a $50 million price, cheaper than the B737 or A320 list prices. The Chinese airlines that have placed orders for the C919 already have either the Boeing 737 or Airbus A320 in their fleets. In 2013, Chinese state-owned newspaper Global Times complained that an Aviation Week editorial about the bleak prospects for the aircraft maliciously disparaged the future outlook for the C919. Comac aims to take a fifth of the global narrow-body market and a third of the Chinese market by 2035. It expects 2,000 sales in the next 20 years. China considers it as a source of national pride. The C919 is outdated by 10-15 years compared to the latest versions of the A320 and Boeing 737, and will probably cost more to operate. Orders. At the November 2010 Zhuhai Air Show, Comac announced orders for 55 C919 aircraft from 6 airlines, with an additional 45 options. The purchasing airlines or lessors included China Eastern Airlines, Air China, Hainan Airlines, China Southern Airlines, CDB Leasing Company, and GE Capital Aviation Services. On 19 October 2011, Chinese ICBC Leasing ordered 45 C919s and agreed to be the launch customer. On the 11th of November 2014, Comac announced at the 2014 Zhuhai Air Show that China Merchants Bank's aircraft leasing division made a firm commitment for 30 C919s, and that total orders were now up to 450 aircraft. At the June 2015 Paris Air Show, Ping and Leasing signed a letter of intent for 50 C919s. becoming one of Comac's largest customers, and Kurin Group signed a letter of intent for 7 C919s and 7 ARJ21s, intended for the start-up Kurin Airlines. In November 2016, Comac has received an order for 20 C919s, including 5 firm from Shanghai Pudong Development Bank Financial Leasing, and for 36 C919s from CITIC Group Financial Leasing, including 18 firm. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.